This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. Hi, my name is Destiny. If you've never seen me before, I make book videos where I shamelessly laugh, cry, and rant about books on the internet. One of the very well-known facts about me is that I am a very picky rater, which means I rarely ever rate a book 5 stars. Scrolling through YouTube and seeing other booktubers making "this book ends when I get a 5-star read" video, it seemed like the perfect challenge to take on and a lot of fun in the process. But I was wrong. Very wrong. There's so much stuff on this table. Book 1 time of this video, let's see, what if, genuinely, what would I do if in this video it turned into like just the first book that I read is a 5 stars? Like, what would I do? Like, this video is literally supposed to be reading until I get a 5-star read. What would I do if the first book's 5? I don't know. The first book that I'm reading for today's video is Heartless by Elsie because this is actually the second book in the Chestnut Spring series that she has going on. I actually just finished the first book this morning at the gym. I literally did an hour of cardio, 20 minutes on the stair climber, and then I did the rest on the treadmill because I wanted to finish that book at the gym while I was, you know, getting some cardio in. Literally been editing all morning, and all I've been thinking about while editing is reading this book. That's literally all that I have been thinking about. So I'm so excited. I really liked Flawless, which is the first book, and now we have Heartless, which is the second one. This one is a single dad trope, small town, country boy. He runs a farm, and I'm so excited to start reading it. First book, I actually have really high hopes. I'm not even joking. This could possibly be a 5-star read. I don't know. Okay guys, let's talk about Squarespace. I've talked about them multiple times on my channel. You guys know how much I really love them. If you guys are looking to build a website, blog, online business, newsletter, whatever you guys want to do, Squarespace is 100% the way to go. Squarespace allows you to have full free creative roam to do whatever suits you and your business and your needs. And they have super easy features to help you customize and make everything super easy, not only for you, but for the people that are visiting your website. I have a few favorite features on website personally. When I made my little blog that I have going on, my whatsdesreading blog, there are member areas where basically you can sell gated content and you can monetize your content in a way that best fits you. And you are unlocking your new revenue stream by selling things, whether these are like videos, newsletters, online courses, or whatever you are seeing fit with your business. They also have some blogging and commenting features. That way you can really bring in your community that are coming to your website and everyone can interact with each other. You can also use this tool to categorize, share, and schedule your posts. My personal favorite is just how easy they make it to connect any of your other social links. Again, so it's all in one space. All you have to do is push website content. You click the social media that you want to put in there, and then boom, it's there. Everything is there. Your people that are coming to the website can see it and they can go to your websites and share it. If you guys are interested, you guys can go to squarespace.com to get a free trial. And then when you guys are ready to launch, you guys can go to squarespace.com/dishinitwithdes to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you guys so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. These headphones off. Oh, I need to wash them. Okay guys, a little update. I am currently 51% through Heartless right now. I actually opted to read it on my Kindle. You know what? I have really been putting this Kindle to use lately because usually I just prefer to hold a book, but something when I'm laying in bed, I don't like holding a book. Like, I can never get comfortable holding a book in bed. So if it's on Kindle Unlimited, 110% chance that I am going to be reading it on my Kindle. Oh, okay. So glad that you're joining us, babe. Hi, baby. Our thoughts on Heartless so far. I am really loving it. I've literally found myself smiling I call it smiling out loud, like when I start smiling at a book and I am listening to the playlist. I think it's like that first playlist. If I talk about multiple playlists in today's video, I'm gonna link them down below because they are so good. There have been so many moments where I'm listening to songs and then I'm like reading them and then I pay attention to the song in the back and I'm like, wow, that encapsulates this moment perfectly. Like, it's so weird how that lined up. And I have just been enjoying it. This is a single dad trope book, and usually I don't like when kids are in books. Like, I won't say I don't like. I'm pretty indifferent to it, but with this one, I don't know what it is. I just love everything about it. I love the girl, I love the guy, and I've been loving like the pacing of this book and everything. I feel like there are some plot twists to come though, because it's been pretty tame for 50% through. Those are my thoughts right now. I'm gonna keep on reading it, but I'm loving it. On part like 10,000 of TikTok audios that are in my head right now, it's the, oh, I love it and I hate it at the same time. You and I did love in the same time. Okay, so I actually finished Heartless probably like an hour ago, and wow, the fact that I literally just in one sitting sat and finished this book, so good, but it's not, I just spit a little bit. It is not a 5 stars. Ooh, it is a 4.5, which is so frustrating because honestly, here for a little bit, I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to be a 5 stars? And I'm not doing this for like the sake of the video, for it not to be a 5 stars. That way this video can go on longer. Trust me, in an ideal situation, I would have loved for this to be like a book and I picked it up and it's 5 stars. But it was a 4.5. This, like I said, I loved the guy and the girl in this book, but at the end, kind of like out of nowhere, they pull this trope, which I honestly, if you've read this book, you know, but I don't mind this trope if it's done right. And I feel like this could have been done right in this book. Like, I feel like it honestly, okay, sorry, Charlie's kind of going a little bit nuts. I feel like it would have been done good in this book because I feel like out of all books, it would have like fit. But they didn't spend a lot of time on it. They introduced it at like 90% through the book, and then they spend like no time on it, and it's honestly something that like should have some time spent. I feel like it really should have had a lot of time spent on it, so for that it got bumped down 0.5 star. But everything else about this book I loved. I loved the guy, I loved the girl, I loved the banter, I loved the pacing. I am loving this series so far. I read Flawless and I finished it today, like I said, and then we have Heartless, and then the next book that we're reading for this video is the final book in this little series, because it's the Chestnut Spring series and she only has 3 books out right now. But honestly, I could foresee just this series overall being a 5 stars because I love the small town vibes, I love the country vibes. It's gonna be a country girl Fleetwood Mac 70s summer, and it's like a bunch of different aesthetics. It's like a bunch of different aesthetics that I'm mixing in this summer, but it's okay. First book, okay, why am I still holding this book? First book down, I have great, amazing, positive feelings towards it, but it was not a 5 stars, so on to the next. It is the next day, and we are starting the second book for this video, hoping to find a 5-star read. This video is going in when I find a 5-star read. This video could be months long. Who knows, by the way that I rate books. But the second book that we are reading for this video, I feel like is kind of a no-brainer. Also, sorry the camera is shaking. Charlie has just decided to go absolutely feral right now. But the second book that we're reading for today's video is going to be Powerless by Elsie Silver, except I am going to be reading it on my Kindle because I am laying in bed because I don't feel good and I do want to lay down, and so I don't like holding books in my bed. I like to read on Kindle. So, second book we are starting, Powerless by Elsie Silver. I thought my hair was slaying, but it's not. We have a dilemma. Not like an actual dilemma, it's just that I guess it is a dilemma for this video, but this isn't like an overly negative thing. I don't want it to seem like an overly negative thing because it's not. I just kind of want to update with my thoughts. So I'm actually still reading Powerless by Elsie Silver, which is really surprising because with the first 2 books, I actually got through those in basically one sitting. With this one, I don't know why, as soon as I picked this one up, I just like it feels different, where I still feel like it's not going to be a bad rating, but I can just tell that this isn't going to be a 5-star read. I'm not as enthralled into these people's story as I am with the other 2 books. And also I think it just threw me off because I wanted the other brother's book, and then this isn't the other brother's book, and then something happened and I'm just a little confused right now. I'm still liking it though. Like, it's still the same world, it's still the same characters that you get to see throughout the whole entire series. I don't know what it is about the guy. It's the guy in this book that's making me a little bit like, I don't know. That's just my thoughts right now though. It's like complicated because I still really like it because it is the Chestnut Spring series, but I just know it's not going to be a 5 stars. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm putting down? Honestly, I really wanted to get some reading done today, and I've gotten no reading done because I've had such a bad headache. Also, every single time that I have tried to pick up this book, my attention span just is not sticking with it. I'm not joking. Every single time I've picked up this book, I've ended up falling asleep. That sounds so harsh. That sounds so hard. It's not like that. It's just like I pick it up, and sometimes, honestly, this may sound weird, but when I'm tired, I will pick up a book that I've been like wanting to read. That way, like, it keeps me up, because if I'm wanting to read it, like, obviously it will keep me from falling asleep. But with this one, it just hasn't been doing that. But I'm going to continue reading. I wanted to get a lot of reading done today. I think I'm honestly going to go to Barnes & Noble until it closes, like, here in a little bit, because I think it'll have some really nice vibes to just sit in Barnes & Noble, like, once it gets dark outside and it's a rainy day, and then just kind of sit there and chill and read in there. Maybe I should look up the playlist like I did with the other ones. Should I do that? I think I probably should. Why do I want to give like a time update like it's a 24-hour read? Oh my gosh, I did not do a 24-hour readathon in March. Should I do one? I've just finished Powerless. I powered through this book. I think it was 30% through when I did my last like sit down clip, and I straight up powered through the rest of this book. And I don't want to say powered through like it was like me struggling through it, because it wasn't, because I do love this series. I think honestly this doesn't count because it has to be a 5-star book, but I think that this is just a 5-star series for me. I love every single one of the characters, and I love the setting of this book. Also, in this book you get a glimpse at some characters at some point, and I think Elsie Silver has like another series that these characters were a part of. So I'm about to look that up and order those books because I have no self-control. But anyway, what was I saying? That would be nice if I could remember. It's a 5-star series for me. I've really loved the series. I do, however, think that this was just my least favorite book of the series. With that being said, this is still a 4 star. I think I rated Flawless a 4.25, Heartless a 4.5, and I rated this one a 4. And it's funny because the 2 people that really made me want to read this series was Hot Girl Bookshelf, and her name's Logan, and then Books with JB. They both post about these, and it just made me want to read them. And when I talked to Logan about it, she said that the second book was the best and the other 2 like weren't as good, but they were still good. I completely agree. If I were to rank them, it would be, you know, as my ratings just said, Heartless, Flawless, and then Powerless. But that being said, I still really liked the series, and I'm very excited for the next book to come out in June. I think it comes out in June. And that's so crazy because, side note, I feel like we just started 2023. So when I say, oh, it's coming out in June, I'm like, bestie, it's about to be summer. It's about to be summer. It's about to be Hot Girl Summer. Not a 5-star read. Ugh. I'm so sad and upset that it's not, but you know, like, what can you do? So I have finished the little Chestnut Springs, what is out of the series so far, and I have loved it. I think I can anticipate at least the book that's coming out next, and I think there will be one more book because those are like the only characters that are like left that have been introduced to the story that don't have a book. So I'm very, very excited, and I really love these. Again, a 5-star series, but that doesn't count because it has to be a 5-star book. The challenging thing is picking a new book. So I don't know what mood I am in because I'm not in a fantasy mood, because the last video that I uploaded, or one of the last videos I uploaded, was me reading 5 fantasy books in 5 days. That completely burnt me out from fantasy. Like, I don't even know if I can pick up a fantasy book right now. And also, I don't know, like, there's no romances that are calling out to me. Like, honestly, I really, really wanted to read this series. So this was like, I think these 3 books were like the books that I was the most excited to read this month, but I don't know other than that. So I am going to go back to the drawing board, look at my TBR, because I do just want to pick books that are on my TBR. But yeah, I'm going to go back to the drawing board and see you guys when I come up with what book that I'm going to read next. Hey, okay. Not me showing my feet. We're on to our 3rd book of the video. Oh yeah, because yesterday I went to Barnes & Noble and I was going to read, but then I didn't. And I was choosing between The Love Wager or 5 Survive. And guess what came out today? Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh came out today, which is the series of Binding and Keeping 13, and you guys know that that is one of my like 6-star reads. I love those two books so much, and Saving 6 came out in February, and I read that book in one sitting. Literally sat there and read it all night because I absolutely just adore these characters. And the other book came out today. I don't have the physical copy. I downloaded it on my Kindle. I will be buying the physical copy. Those books, the font is so small and it is such a heavy book to hold that I would just honestly rather read it on my Kindle. By the way, I've been getting a lot of questions about my Kindle, like what Kindle it is. It's just a Kindle Paperwhite 2021. I didn't know that not everyone's Kindle was like this. Everyone was like, your Kindle's so big. And I was like, oh. The third book that we're reading is Redeeming 6, which could very much so be our 5-star read for the video. We could have B3 and done, and that would be crazy because honestly I'm really scared of this video because knowing me, I'm extremely picky, and I'm not going to say something's 5 stars just like in the video or like whatever. You guys know, if you are a subscriber or if you watched my videos before, I'm very extremely picky with 5-star reads. It says that it's on my Kindle. I've been reading so much on my Kindle lately, it's not even funny. You know, I don't get that saying when people are like, I've been doing this so much, it's not even funny. I'm like, but who was laughing? Okay, why is this not on my Kindle? Like, it says it's supposed to be on my Kindle. So the question is, who's lying? Oh my gosh, my Kindle is being so... I'm so excited. Oh, we're downloading it. We're downloading it. Also, there's this trope that I am pretty sure I picked up on it, and I am literally like 95% sure because in Keeping 13, there are like a few scenes between them, the two characters from Saving and Redeeming 6, and like the way that they talk, I just feel like there's this trope. And I usually don't like this trope, but I feel like I'm gonna like it with them. I'm literally so excited to read this. Okay, we're gonna read it. Okay, I already have something to say. Chloe Walsh's dedications are so incredibly sweet, and this one says, Redeeming 6 is dedicated to the boys I went to secondary school with, whose shenanigans, friendship, banter, hilarious antics, and blind loyalty inspire the characters of Johnny, Gibbsy, Feely, Huey, Walshy, Slash, Al, and Madden, the OG boys of Toman. And yeah, I married the first one. And the first one literally is Johnny. What? That is so cute. I literally can't. Okay, so I'm kind of confused because there's this part of the book. So Saving 6 takes place like a while before the events of Binding and Keeping 13, but specifically Binding 13. And now this book is like, this is like right before Binding 13 starts. So I don't know how we're going to go on this timeline and if there's going to be more than 2 books for them, because like it's still even before Binding 13. I don't know. I'm literally only 4% through the book, but right now they're at this like house party, and you are seeing the characters that you've already got to know and love, but you're seeing them like before the events of Binding and Keeping 13. And there are these 2 characters that are pretty prevalent through Binding and Keeping 13 that you have like no, or maybe I'm dumb, I've literally read them multiple times, but I've never even seen like a hint at these 2 people. And now like Joey saw like these 2 people interacting and like knows that there's something going on between them, and like maybe I'm dumb, but I just like did not even know that that was a thing. But also right now it is raining and I can just hear it, and I'm also so cold. I'm so cold. Also today I reorganized my bookshelves, but now I'm like looking at them and hating them. So there's that information because you did desperately need that. Okay guys, it's the next day. I read like I think up to 10% last night, but I am just now picking it back up. Well, actually I've been reading it for about an hour now. Oh my gosh, it's almost 8 p.m. I'm 100% gonna throw up at some point. I am 22% through Redeeming 6 right now. I had to update this because literally I can't take this seriously at all. His nickname for her is Queen, so he'll be like, yes, Queen, but all I'm imagining when I read it is like, yes, Queen. Okay, Queen, like that's all I'm imagining. But other than that, I am liking the book. The only thing that I would complain about right now is that it just feels like a lot of repetition. You didn't have that a lot in the other book because it took place before Binding and Keeping 13, so you didn't really have anything to repeat because you know, like it wasn't taking place in the same time. But now that it's overlapping with Binding and Keeping 13, we're just kind of getting like their point of view on things that have happened. That's kind of what the last few chapters have been. And like especially since I reread Binding and Keeping 13 last month, I don't really like need a recount for what was said and all that. Like I literally just read it, and I don't need like some of the events. Yeah, I would like Joey's point of view, but like these that we're getting, I don't need Joey's point of view. I could very well throw up here soon, but I think we're gonna get to an interesting part, and I'm very scared, but I am still liking it so far. Also, I follow Chloe Walsh on Instagram, and today she was like posting on her Instagram stories, and she was like, okay, whose book should be next? And she said Huey, and then one of them said Gibbsy, and I literally stood up and I was like, no, I need you to put out Gibbsy's book, like right now. I need Gibbsy's book. Oh. Hi guys. It's the next morning. Did I talk this morning to the camera? No, I just finished redeeming, what was it? Redeeming 6? It was not a 5-star, but it was a 4.5. Like both, I rated Saving 6, and now I rated Redeeming 6 4.5 stars. The thing is that I love Joey, because that's who this book follows, is Joey. And he's the brother of the girl from the first 2 books, so you're kind of following them. And I was like, oh, I can't wait for his book. And obviously 4.5 stars is still absolutely amazing. That series, including these 2 books, is a 5-star series for me. But the books individually were not a 5 stars for me. But like in a whole, if you were to judge everything, it would be a 5 stars. I think what really kept these books from being a 5 stars is because I think what knocks the books down, the half-star rating from a 5-star for me, is just how repetitive they were. And what I mean by that is, of course, you read Binding and Keeping 13, and obviously these 2 characters that you read about in this book are in Binding and Keeping 13, but obviously you don't get their point of views. And so when you're reading these books, you are getting their point of views. And with the first book, it wasn't as much. But with this book, that knocked it down. It was just how repetitive it was, because there were so many instances that I literally, like I said, I think also because I've just recently, last month, reread Binding and Keeping 13, that I'm like, oh, okay, this is like the same exact words and everything, but just from like Joey's perspective. And while I still loved the book, there was just too much of that for me. Like if it was just a few instances, that's fine, but it was just a whole lot. I feel like I didn't get a whole lot of new information. I would have liked to see a lot more of their life after the events of Keeping 13. It's weird because Redeeming 6 picks up like right around the time that Binding 13 does. Obviously, like the timeline goes, and you get just a little bit of the time after Keeping 13, and I wish that this book would have just kind of taken place more like smack dab maybe in the middle of Keeping 13 and then a lot after to see that. But I think maybe why is because obviously she thankfully, I'm so happy she's continuing with this series. I cannot wait for the rest of the books, but I think it's because like she can't really like tell the other stories of the other characters, so maybe she can't like progress the storyline that long. I don't know, but that was just what knocked it down a half-star rating for me, was just kind of like the repetitive nature of it. I just wish I got more, I don't want to say original content because all of it's original, but I guess like, I don't know, like not just the same, it's the same story. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I hope you get it. How many books have I read for today's video? I only read 2. No, did I read Heartless? I think I read Heartless, Flawless, and now I read Redeeming 6, which it was 1,000 pages on the Kindle, which that's just because the Kindle's a lot smaller. And also I did, in fact, order Redeeming 6 in the physical copy, and I am waiting on that. I think it's coming Tuesday. That's the 3rd book for today's video. I was gonna switch up the genre and read 5 Survive before I remembered that Redeeming 6 came out. So I definitely think I need to switch up the genre. I really thought that maybe this would be the book to be like, oh, we're gonna end it at 3. On to the 4th book we go. Good evening. It is literally, I don't even know how long it's been since I picked up the camera to do this video, but we're continuing it because all of the other books that I have been reading this month, and I think I've been, oh my god, I think I've been doing this video since March. Like, all the videos that I've read so far this month have been for like videos or, you know, like some other thing involving some other content. So I haven't been like reading for this video, but don't fret. Okay, don't think that you guys have like missed out on a 5-star because I haven't found one yet. We're gonna continue reading for this video because I have a few books that I'm wanting to get through and see if they're gonna be 5 stars or not. So right now I am 54% through Serpents and Wings of the Night, I think is what it's called. The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. I think that's what that's called. Originally, I saw this guy that I follow on TikTok that like talks about books. He talked about this and he said that he hasn't felt this way about a book since ACOTAR. Like, you know, when someone says that to me, I'm like, and then when I went to Jersey, Sarah had this book and I was like, oh wait, that guy talked about it. Like, if you read that, let me know. Well, I don't know if she's read it yet. I kind of want to ask her if she's read it, but I am 54% through. It has been good so far. I actually have only read it on the plane to California and from California, sparingly through flights, and got 50% through it. I'm really liking who I think is the love interest of the book, and I find the storyline super interesting, and I really like the main girl. Like, I'm really liking this book, and I'm only 50% through. Could this potentially be a 5-star read? I don't know. After last month, I didn't think that I'd be in a fantasy mood for a while, but I'm back in my fantasy mood. I really want to reread Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter because she released the prom chapter from Wes's point of view, and oh my god, the crumbs that we got in Wes's point of view were like, for real. We're gonna continue reading The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. I don't know. I keep on forgetting what this book is called. But let's see if this is going to be our 5 stars. This isn't a spoiler, but there are parts of this book where they have like mindful connections and they are talking to each other and she can hear like another character's voice like in her mind. And I don't ever know if she's imagining it or if they have this like bond where they can like hear each other, kind of like, I'm gonna say it, Feyre and Rhysand. So it's the next morning and I'm still reading The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. I feel like I'm never going to get that name right. Right now I'm 65% through the book. Right now I feel like it's a little bit more of a slow point because I feel like the rest of this book has been going by pretty quick. Like, I feel like this book is pretty fast paced. Right now, though, I feel like we're in a little bit where they're trying to kind of distinguish the romance. So we're getting a little bit more of that. Not that I'm complaining. Not that I'm complaining at all. But yeah, so we're 65% through. And I wanted to start recording because I've heard that the plot twists at the end of this book are insane. And I have a few predictions up in this brain. And I want to see if they're right. But I start sweating so bad, like when I get towards like the end of a book or like reading a book, I start sweating. It could literally be a romance book with low stakes and I will always sweat so bad. I just finished The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. I don't even know what to say. First of all, I have been seeing this everywhere recommended to people by saying that it's like ACOTAR and it's the new ACOTAR. Listen, I don't feel that the two books are similar in literally any way. These people aren't fae. They're vampires. Okay, they're vampires in the story. And yes, they can fly, but like they're not like the Bat Boys, okay? The first and foremost thing that I want to say is please do not go into this book and think, oh, this is going to be like ACOTAR. It's not anyway. So please don't go into it thinking that, because not that you'll be set up for disappointment, but I feel like it's going to affect the story and how you think of the book when you are just going to be comparing it to ACOTAR in your head, especially if you really liked ACOTAR. That being said, I really, really liked this book and I thought the writing was so good. I highlighted so many things. Usually, especially when I read on my Kindle, I don't highlight a lot because I don't know what it is about not even though it's easier on a Kindle because you're not like writing anything and all you're doing is just like dragging your finger across it, I usually just don't. I highlighted so many things. The story had so many different emotions built up inside of me. Oh my gosh, I loved this book. It's a 4.5. Which is a really good rating. Like, I really loved this book. I've had such a good experience reading it. It just didn't give me that 5-star feeling, and I feel like if the ending would have been a little bit different, it would have been a 5 stars, but the way that this book ends off, I just kind of was like, I don't know what to think. This book is definitely giving like fantasy Hunger Games, where the Hunger Games is obviously very dystopian because it takes place like in a human world and it's just kind of like them. This is basically like mixed fantasy with the Hunger Games. A big subplot of this book is that they are competing in a thing called the Kahari. I think that's how you pronounce it. Guys, literally, please don't comment in the comments talking about how I can't pronounce things right. I never pronounce things right in fantasy books. Like, I just always ask you guys to just please stick with me with that because these are literally made up names. But she competes in what I think is called the Kahari. It's, I don't know. Her name is Aurea. That is the best female main character name in a fantasy book that I've ever heard. Aurea. It's so beautiful. She is such a strong main character, and I love reading fantasy books where literally right off the bat the main character is like a force to be reckoned with. She is like very intimidating, not to be taken lightly. Like, I just love that in fantasy books. I really didn't expect to love this as much as I did. When I was in Jersey, Sarah started reading this book, and like I said, I had seen it some places, and I was like, yeah, tell me if that's good because I want to read it. And wow, I genuinely loved this book so much. Like, I can't even, I really loved it. 4.5 stars. I think that if the next book, which I guess there's only 2 books, I think people were under the impression that there were going to be like multiple in the series where it's only a duology, and the second book actually just came out a few days ago. I don't know if I should take a break or if I should start another book and then go to this book and then, you know. The next book that I want to read right now, literally because Sarah just read this and I haven't read it yet, and she posted a quote of this. I don't know if my heart can take it. I think I want to read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing because me and Sarah literally talked about this, because if you didn't know, when I was in Jersey, I actually reread the Magnolia Parks book. Well, I had only read the first one, so I reread the first Magnolia Parks and then read Daisy Hates and then read Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home. A lot of people in my vlog thought that I literally just went directly to The Long Way Home and didn't read Daisy Hates. I did read Daisy Hates and then read The Long Way Home. I feel like I had such a bad book hangover from The Long Way Home that like I think I tried to read Heartless after that and I just like wasn't into it. But I do want to read this because I love Julian. Julian is the brother of the girl in this book, and he gets like his own point of views. And at first, like when I heard that, I was a little bit like, why does he get his own point of views? But then when you read it, you know. And I don't know, I kind of want to hop back into this world. I will talk more about it in my monthly wrap up because like right here in this moment, we're not gonna be talking about Magnolia Park. I don't know, guys, what if I don't find a 5-star book and we read Happy Place by Emily Henry? That comes out the 27th, and I swear I'm just gonna read that book all day. I'm gonna check to see. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start The Great Undoing, and then once the second book gets delivered, I'm gonna start reading that one. It is Saturday. I think, when's the last time that I updated? I forget, but I am about this much. I have this much left of Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. Well, with the other 2 books, so Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home and Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, there's like a part of the book where the other title is said in the book, and it's like an important central point of the book. And that just happened with this one, and I didn't think it was gonna be with this character. I'm going to finish this. I have like this much left. I don't know if I can do this. So much just happened. Oh my god. Oh my god. So I just finished this. First and foremost, this book is not a 5 stars. Let's just get that out of the way. And like, I knew this book wasn't going to be 5 stars because I don't know if I will ever be able to rate. I'm just thinking about, I I don't know if I'll ever be able to rate any of these books a 5 stars because you guys know that I hate the miscommunication trope, and that's basically all these books are. And for that sole purpose, no matter how much I love the stories or really start to like the characters, I don't think I can ever rate these books at 5 stars. But this one is the closest I think I have ever got a book in the series of 5 stars. This is definitely a 4.75 for me. I can't believe it. It's very close to 5, but it did not give me that 5-star feeling. You guys know, if you're a frequent viewer of my channel, I am very, very, very harsh with my 5 stars because those are like the top tier books and those give me a specific feeling, and this didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but it got very close. There's not much I can say about this book because it is like in the series and you're pretty deep into the story of like everybody by now. This book did break me. I didn't cry, but it did break my heart very many times. This book had me feeling some emotions, and it made me start to like Christian because this book is supposed to be about Daisy and Christian, but there's another character that you get in these books and their point of view, and I just don't know what to think now. 4.75. I think this is the closest we've gotten in this video to a 5 stars, but we're not quite there yet. I'm trying to remember what books I've read for this video. On to the next. So I just finished six Scorched Roses, which is a novella. I heard that you're supposed to read Serpent and Wings of Night and then the novella and now go into the second book to like finish off the little duology, because this novella, for some reason, I didn't even know what the novella was about. No one like talked about like what the novella was about. I just knew that there was like a novella that you had to read. I thought that it was going to be about like the characters that we learned about in the first book, and it wasn't. It was about 2 other characters, and you're following the girl the same way you're following like the other girl in the book. I don't know how within under 200 pages I grew such an attachment to these characters and this story. And I do think that Carissa Broadbent, for the series that I am reading, her series is extremely fast paced. Like you never feel like there's like filler. You know, like how in fantasy books sometimes it feels like fillers going on and it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. You never really get that feeling with her books. She keeps it fast paced the whole entire time. There's always something happening, and she definitely did the same exact thing with this novella. There was no like, oh, I'm dragging this part out. It was so extremely fast paced to the point where literally I was like, I think like 30% through this, and within not even an hour I finished this novella. I kid you not, like I flew through it. It was so fast paced. So much happened in such a short amount of time, but it didn't feel like kind of like an overload of information. It felt perfectly paced. I don't know how she did that, and how I grew an attachment to these characters and their story and like was emotional over what was going to happen with them. This actually, I never rate novellas high, but I am rating this a 4.5 stars because I really enjoyed this. Like I was very into the story, very into the characters, wanted to see what was going to happen next, and it was just a nice little backstory for them. So yes, I'm gonna rate this a 4. Still not a 5 stars. On to the next. Okay guys, so same exact clip because we're getting some work done today, because if you couldn't tell, I haven't been in a reading slump. It's just that like, so we've been having some trouble. So hopefully today I can get a lot of reading done. You'll kind of see me kind of just like in the same spots today. But anyway, the next book that we're reading for today's video is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I don't know why I love these covers. Like something about these covers just like, they look so fantasy to me. I just hold this book up and it looks like a fantasy book. Oh my god. This is like a 600+ page book. I've already talked about this because I was going to start this yesterday, but then I was like, oh wait, the novella. Gotta start the novella. So now we're finally starting this, and I'm excited to pick this back up because Sarah already read this one. She read the first one and then she read the second one already, and she read the novella. Some stuff happened at the end of the last book that made me not like the character that I was in love with, and hopefully they redeem themselves. Let's see. I'm gonna start this book. I have to charge my camera though because it's dead. Okay guys, a little bit of an update here. So I am on chapter 7, which is page 55, which is literally this much of the book. Like we are not a lot through this book right now. I am liking it. But the weird thing is how I was talking about like the pacing of her books. This is not something that I would even complain. I'm not complaining, but I wouldn't even complain about something like this, because usually like when a book is starting out, it's like, yeah, things are going to be a little bit slower because you're trying to kind of like establish the storyline for the book. But even in like the first book, when I was reading The Serpent and Wings of Night, I was like, wow, this is like flying by. Like we're just kind of like flying by everything. Like we're just kind of going. With this book, I hate when like a book ends off on a conflict between characters, so then when the next book starts, you are starting off with a conflict between those two characters. It's not, I hate to say like it's not resolved quickly, but I just hate the like dragged on storyline of like a conflict between two characters. But the thing is that I literally can't complain with this one, because what happened between two characters in this book and like what happened to make them have this big conflict is like very extremely valid. But part of me is still like, can we just get past it? But we're gonna read some more, try to get through the book. I am literally only 103 pages into this book. I'm not getting through this as quickly as I even got through the first one. And part of me feels like it's because I'm reading the physical copy of this book. Like I have never felt this way, but I feel like I've been reading things way faster on my Kindle than I am reading physical copies of books. Like I really want to like underline and annotate this book, but I don't want to read the physical book. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a reading slump. So there's that. I'm not disliking the book at all. I really like the book in this universe, but I'm just reading this so slow, and I really want to finish this today and start another book. I don't care how late I have to stay up. I will be finishing this book today, but I might start reading it on my Kindle. I am cracking a cold one. Even though this isn't cold, it's been sitting out since, no, you wanna know what? It's still cold. This is how cold it is in my room, that this energy drink is still cold, and it's been sitting out since last night. It's been sitting out for like 16 hours. I didn't open it, but it's like not been in the fridge, and literally it's still cold. That's not even room temperature. That's how freezing it is in my room. I'm tired. Hello, a little bit of an update. It's literally 8:30 at night. Wow, time flies when you're depressed. I have been, as of a few hours ago, trying to be very vigilant, I don't know if that's the right word, about trying to update my Goodreads. I used to be really good about it, but now I'm like really bad about it, because the first thing I do is go to my Notion, and then my Goodreads is like lacking. And I am on page 279, 41% through. After I picked the book back up, I literally like was flying through the pages up until like 30 minutes ago, and that was just because I put the book down, because it had literally been like an hour plus, and I literally had not like connected with anybody, and I was just checking my phone, and then of course you get sucked into social media. Point is that I had just been really immersed in the book, and it's weird because like there's a plot. There's essentially a plot, and we weren't even necessarily like following it. Like we were following it, but then we were also kind of like going down the side of the road to establish some relationships and like, you know, side characters and all of that. Now I feel like we're kind of getting back on track with the plot, and I took a little bit of a breaky break for like 20 minutes. I wanted to see if I am in a book slump right now, or if it was just because earlier I just was not in the mood to read. I literally even walked over to my TBR card to pick out another book, but then I looked at all the books in my TBR, and I was like, oh, I'm not in the mood to read any of these. That's also tangent time. Can we designate a time for my videos called TT? And whenever I go TT, just know it's tangent time. I think it's something I'm gonna start doing. Just made that up on the spot. That's why sometimes it's hard when I make like my TBRs, and then I look at the end of the month and I go, wow, I didn't really follow my TBR. It's because like that's what I was in the mood to read at the beginning of the month. And I think TBRs are fun. I think monthly TBRs are so much fun. But like then I find myself feeling a little bit like disappointed because I didn't follow it. And it's like, life is short. You know, why are we getting upset about these things? Like, I am going to keep reading this book, and I'm gonna finish it tonight. My back is hurting though, like that's also another thing. But also like just a random little thought. So this book is split up in parts, and the parts follow the phases of the moon, which I'm sure has like a big significance that I'm gonna learn, or maybe I've already learned it but it just like flew over my head. That happens a lot with fantasy books. There's a lot going on. I can't catch everything, okay? My brain is not huge. So right now we're in the half moon stage. I think that's what it's called. That's what I'm calling it. Yay! I'm liking it though. I don't know if it's 5 stars. I can't say that though, because I'm not even 50% through the book yet, but it's not feeling like a 5 stars. But a lot of my 5 stars didn't feel like a 5 stars until like towards the end of it. So, okay, I gotta let Charlie out. I did it. I finished it. Now for the rating. I'm gonna give this a 4.5. I will say, when I think about like this book and the first one, it's weird because I fell so much like deeper in love with the characters, the relationships and friendships in this book, but I liked the plot of the first book a lot better. But maybe it sounds a little weird that like I rated this a 4.5 stars and rated the first one a 4.5 stars, but like I liked the plot of the first one like 100 times more. But I feel like it's because this one didn't follow the plot as strong as the first book did. This book's finished though, and it was a chunky book. It was like 600 pages and we finished it. Feeling accomplished. Gotta go fill out my Notion and then gotta go read AO3. Guys, this video might actually end today after a month plus of filming it, because guess what I got yesterday? Give her the moment that she deserves. So I told myself that I wasn't going to buy the physical copy, but I did. We're going to read it today. I actually am running from my responsibilities. I need to be editing a video, but I'm going to let myself read 100 pages of happy feelings to Emily Henry that this book is a 5 stars. Can't believe we're here. Oh, let's do it. Page 72. Let's see how far I am through the book. I'm 18% through the book right now. That's the update. But I actually am really liking it. I feel like with Emily Henry's other books, I feel like this is her most like atmospheric book. She's doing a great job of painting the picture of the landscape of where they're at. They like vacation every summer in Maine, and literally within less than 100 pages, she has already made you fall in love with every single character in this book through the point of view of Harriet, and it is just so wholesome. Like, this feels like her most wholesome book. Like, it just feels like that like guitar instrumental in the background, and everyone's just so wholesome and happy, and everyone's just so close together. These are the type of vibes that I love. So I'm really enjoying this book so far. I feel like it has the potential to be 5 stars, but I don't want to say that because I don't want to overhype it in my head and then be disappointed. Wow. Okay. With this book, I just really was immersed in the story and just like annotating, underlining, taking some little moments just to think about the book and how it was written and everything about it. It was just... it was so good. How dare this book have this cute, happy cover and be so emotional on the inside? I will say with Emily Henry's book, I feel like they get marketed as romance books when I feel like, honestly, they're more of a literary fiction with romance. I kind of always felt like that with Emily Henry books. Her books are about a couple, but they're also about so much more. And I feel like with Happy Place, it has done it the most that any book of hers has done, where it had a strong theme and subplot of friendship and the power of friendship. Also dealt with anxiety, depression, communicating not only within your relationship, but even with your friendships and just your personal relationships with people, with your parents, with your siblings. Like, this book tackled so much. So many things were talked about in this book, and it just hit so close to home. I find myself identifying with both the guy and the girl in this book. Both of them, I identify so entirely heavily with them because I do things that both of them do. And it's so funny when you read a book almost from like an outsider's perspective, and you're reading about these characters and you're like, oh, why would they feel this way? Or like, why would they think that? But then you realize that you do it and you realize that you think that way. Also, I don't know what it was about Emily Henry's writing in this book. I've always really enjoyed Emily Henry's writing and her banter. This was the best that I've read her writing in this book, the quotes in this book. Literally, I took so many pictures of quotes that I was just absolutely fell in love with. Oh my gosh, this book was just so good. I think that this is my favorite book that I read this year. I'm not kidding. This is my favorite book of 2023. So obviously I'm rating this book a 5 stars. This book was so good, and honestly I was scared to read this book because I was thinking, am I not gonna like it? Am I gonna be scared? Am I not gonna like it? 5 stars. Literally, I don't know if this is my favorite book of hers, but it's almost there. But 5 stars. Okay. Hi guys. Literally, I'm gonna ask you guys as a friend, please ignore how I look. I have been editing for 9 hours straight. My head feels like it's gonna fall off of its shoulders. I realized that I didn't properly outro this video after a month of doing it. When I first did, oh, you can see me in the mirror. Hey. When I first, decided to do this video, I thought it'd be fun, and honestly, I thought after maybe like a week or 2 of reading, I would be able to find a 5 stars because I was going to read my more anticipated books that I had on my TBR. I was very wrong. How many books did I read in this video? I read 7 books in this video, I think. Oh, and Daisy Hates. I read 8 books in this video, and it was very, yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'm so happy. I think that this video idea is so absolutely amazing. I've seen so many other booktubers do it, and they did it so good, and it was very fun to make in the progress. I know my intro was a little bit dramatic, but I also didn't have an intro for this video, so what other am I going to do other than be dramatic? I did have a good time. It was so much fun to edit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff that you guys know how to do. I will see you guys when I see you. Peace.